Okay, everybody, here we go. It is me, Gregory Mannarino, Thursday, August 17, 2023. People, we have issues and serious problems at multiple levels, which honestly are out of control. Or, depending on your perspective, going exactly according to plan. I think everything is by design that we're seeing here today, and it's about to get much worse. But let's stick with the market just real quick. Yesterday, I had forgot to bring this up. The S&P 500 flashed a sell signal. What am I talking about? The price action of the S&P 500 crossed below its 50-day moving average. Okay, again, the timing of this is pretty incredible with Michael Burry's massive bet against the market. And we got another warning. I mean, we've been hearing warning after warning after warning from Wall Street super banks, and we just got another one from Goldman Sachs on this market. We had just last week, we had Morgan Stanley warning about the market. And risk in this market is out of control. I mean, we're starting to see some crazy things go on. The MMRI is 276 now. I've been wrong. I've been expecting the Fed to jump in here and start buying debt. I said one of three things was likely to happen, or a combination of those three. You remember what they were? Number one, the Fed's going to buy more debt, pushing yields down. That has not happened. Or maybe they are trying to do it, but debt's just selling off too fast and have to even increase further. I don't know. Okay, but that's one. Buy more debt. Two, weaken the dollar. The relative strength of the dollar this morning is lower, but I'm talking about fractionally. 10-year yield 4.3 this morning here. The third thing they can do is buy large cap stocks, which they do. Okay, they have a trading desk, and this is the plunge protection team. Look it up for yourself. It's a real entity. This is what the Fed does. To prop up the market when it needs to do that. But we haven't really seen anything, and it's kind of interesting to see how this is playing out. Like I said, I believed, and maybe it's still going to happen, that the Fed is going to get in here and start one of those scenarios. Again, buying more debt, weaken the dollar, buying large cap stocks. But it hasn't played out that way, and risk in this market is we're near 300 now, 270, 276. I mean, we don't have further to go to hit extreme risk. Now, extreme risk, let's just put this into perspective, people. The MMRI, the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, it's a risk indicator. It's not a crash indicator. More risk means more than likely we could see something ugly occur, especially now that we got the price action of the S&P 500 crossing below its 50-day moving average. That's generally a sell signal. And then you got Burry out here with his humongous bet against the market. We're going to need to see where this goes. With regard to other assets here, we got crude oil this morning getting bid up. $80 a barrel, above $80 a barrel. Cryptocurrencies are under pressure for the most part. Gold flat, silver catching a bid. That's where we stand. Now, I don't know how many of you are paying attention to. What are they doing? And I want your opinion on this. Okay. They've been floating out Janet Yellen. They've been floating out the creature, whatever it is, yet to be defined, on every single mainstream propaganda ministry financial channel, talking about how fantastic the Inflation Reduction Act is. It's fantastic. It's great. Our economy is going to do really well moving forward. I mean, you can't spend your way into prosperity here, especially when you're the most indebted nation in the history of the world. So what's your take on that? My take on it is they're going to throw more money at it. Another crisis of one type or the other again. That's how we function. We roll by crisis to crisis to crisis to crisis. There's no other way out of it. That's the way it works. So I want to hear from you on that. Why is it, here's the question, that they're parading out Yellen to talk up the Inflation Reduction Act, which has done nothing? Zero. Inflation continues to rise. Speaking about that, okay, we had the Fed minutes yesterday, and we covered it in the video, but let me just expand a little bit on that. So the Fed minutes yesterday, pretty much the general consensus of the freak show, or the freaks that dwell in the halls of the Federal Reserve, is that more rate hikes are going to come. They need to happen because inflation is sticky, whatever word they want to throw out here. Now, tell me again, what's the definition of insanity? It isn't really, but what they try to tell you. They're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome is insane. Well, yes, that's true. But here we have that kind of exact situation. The Federal Reserve, other central banks around the world, they're going to follow suit because they're working in tandem, lockstep to fulfill their end game. Okay, so we found out that more rate hikes are probably coming here. Hasn't helped. It's not meant to work. You all know that. All it's doing is cutting off the availability of credit to small businesses, crushing the consumer, mortgage rates spiking across the board. That's all it's designed to do. It's not really even designed to stop inflation. What can they do? They can contract the money supply. Again, even a fraction. If the Fed were to raise the capital reserve requirements on the major institutions, we could contract the money supply and inflation would go away. Okay, but you see, this is what they can't let you know is this is essentially a money supply problem. Again, what have we had? Since the meltdown of 2008, central banks have gone wild. I mean, gone beyond wild here. Creating cash out of thin air, inflating the global debt beyond anyone's wildest dreams here and there. You see, a central bank's power resides in just one thing, and you know what that one thing is, its ability to inflate. This is why you don't hear a sound, not a peep, out of the mouths of our so-called loving, caring representatives on this. They can't allow you to know that this is a money supply problem that the Fed keeps inflating. All they want to do is borrow and empower the Federal Reserve. So you have no representation. You have zero. Our representatives represent the Federal Reserve, who is the real government. You understand? I think you get it. You and I have no voice. We have no voice here whatsoever. And this is why you don't hear things, like, oh, the Federal Reserve needs to contract the money supply. They can't allow you to know it's a money supply issue and that central banks must continue to inflate. They have to inflate and inflate and inflate. That's how they keep their power. Period. The freaking end. Anyway, on the economic front, how about this? And I want to hear from you. How many of you are surprised to find out that industrial production has now fallen to levels that we saw during the so-called financial crisis? But meanwhile, we're doing great. We're fantastic. We're booming. Everyone is rich. You know that because, that's what they're telling you. And did you see the little meme with Joe Bidenstein? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I offend you? Those of you that love him? Oh, yeah, he has a big fan club. This thing. Okay. Anyway, talking about how inflation is dropping. Inflation is not dropping. It's yet another lie. That's all we get. Lies, distractions, and deceptions, and this is going to get much worse here. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. So that's pretty much where we stand this morning. Keep your eyes on risk. Okay, again, MMRI 276. As I am doing this, trade doesn't start for a while. It's 7:46 a.m. here, Eastern Daylight Time. But we need to keep our eyes on a few things here. Again, sell signal from the S&P 500 crossing below, price action crossing below its 50-day moving average. Risk in this market really out of control. There does not seem to be, the cavalry has not arrived. Okay, is the cavalry going to arrive, or are this going to get bad really, really fast? I guess we're going to need to pay attention to that. So please, people, comment on the things I have spoken about here. What do you think about all this, what we talked about this morning here? I will see all of you later, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Join me, please, for the live stream, and have questions for me. The real reason for the live stream is so you can interact with me in real time in the live chat, so we can address these things. So have questions for me, whatever you want to talk about. Whatever you want. All right? We'll get this down. We're going to get through this together as always. We got each other's backs. You know that. That's it. All right? Love you a lot. I will see you later. All right? And, well, that's all.